In compliance with Chapter 231 of the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice has been given to all members of the governing body, the local source, and the Westfield Leader, and the 2 newspapers designated to receive such notice. This notice is posted on the Borough Hall Bulletin Board. Let's stand for an invocation from Councilman Mortimer.
Dear Lord, please look after the people of our town, especially during the trick-or-treating season and other fall activities. Please look after our uniformed personnel who keep us safe here at home and abroad. And please help us with our deliberations today so that we may benefit the citizens of Mountainside. Amen.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Martha.
Councilman Bond is absent. Councilman Dierkes.
Here.
Councilman Messler is absent. Councilman Mortimer.
Here.
Councilwoman Pater.
Here.
Councilman Turner.
Here.
First, we have the approval of the regular and executive session meeting on September 18th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Poll the council.
Councilman Dierkes.
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater.
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
Next, we have the approval of the minutes for the work and executive session meeting on October 2nd, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Poll the council.
Councilman Dierkes.
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater.
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
Next, we have a number of proclamations. One of the things that we really enjoy doing here at the council meetings is to recognize the youth of our town, and I see we have a bunch of them here tonight. These young men had an unprecedented accomplishment this year. They won the Mid-Atlantic region of the Cal Ripken Little League, which had never been done by a team in Mountainside. My understanding was when they went up to Saratoga to play their games, they were playing against towns that had populations of 20,000, 30,000, 50,000. So certainly it is a major accomplishment by these young men to win that tournament. So I'm going to read this resolution of commendation, and then we're going to ask each one of you to come up, and Councilwoman Pater is going to hand you with your own copy of the resolution, okay? Whereas the Mountainside Baseball Association, MBA, sponsors youth baseball programs to provide boys with the opportunity to improve their skills and performance in competition with other communities. Whereas the NBA U8 travel team, Mountainside Green Machine, were in the District 12 Tournament, Northern New Jersey State Tournament, and Mid-Atlantic Regional Tournament to capture the state and regional championship title. And whereas the team finished with an undefeated 17-0 record, including defeating teams from New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Mountainside that the U8 baseball team and its coaches are hereby commended for their achievements. First, I want to read the names of the coaches. First, we have Andrew Adonato, Eric Canigallo, Vinny Donahue.
Slow down, let him come up.
Okay. Terry Hanratty, Jeff Hunter, and the manager, Steve Filiacci. Now, as I read through the resolution, everyone can keep those for now, but I see, and please don't take offense, that we have down here the U8 softball team. You guys don't play softball, do you? So we're going to have to correct that, and we'll get new resolutions out to all of you. I read it correctly, though. Okay, now we have the mighty Green Machine. we have Addison Adonato. We have C.J. Canigallo. We have Greg Dardanelli. We have Michael Donahue. We have Matthew Filiacci. We have Tice Hanratty. We have Noah Hunter. Mateo the lawyer. Jacob Minafor. Alex Pater. Drew Paris. And Bobby Poth. Why don't you all come up, though, so we can get a picture of all you. Stay down there, Rachel. Guys, why don't you all come up so they can get a picture of all you together. Coaches, you should come up, too. To be for the newspapers and for the television camera.
Exact moment.
Yes, you're
In their positions. Keith said to me. I'm sure some nonsense.
Jump in that picture.
Hey, Richie, you can get in there.
Get in there.
Thank you,
And
Mayor.
before they go, let's give them a standing ovation. I think they deserve it. Let's give them a standing ovation. Okay, now guys, you gotta tip your hats now, right? You gotta tip your hats like they do with the, there you go, that's it. Good job, good job.
Jackets for you guys on the way out as well.
Wow.
All right. Thank you, guys. Oh, and I want to remind everyone on
Saturday.
October 27th, let's get it right. October 27th at 4 o'clock, there's going to be a parade. It's going to go down the same path as the Little League parade. It will start at Wood Valley and Bridle Path, and it will go down the normal path to the field where I believe there'll be a ceremony at the field, the raising of the banner, and I'm not sure what else.
We'll have free food, activities for the kids, home run derby, baseball games, so come down, free food, drinks for everybody. Hey guys, thank you for the council.
Okay, guys, thank you. Good job, great accomplishment.
You guys are getting converted.
I know. You ready? Okay. Next, we have a proclamation for Red Ribbon Week. Whereas October 23rd through October 31st, 2018 has been designated as Red Ribbon Week. Whereas Red Ribbon Week started in 1985 with a group of parents wearing red satin badges as a memorial to Enrique Camarena, a federal drug enforcement administration agent who was killed while in the line of duty. Whereas as a result, in 1989, the red ribbon became a united symbol of commitment to create a drug-free America, showing a nation's intolerance to alcohol and drug abuse. Whereas the Municipal Alliance of the Borough of Mountainside, whose mandate includes spreading the message of drug and alcohol abuse prevention, has coordinated borough and county participation in sponsoring Red Ribbon Week. Therefore, I, Paul N. Mirabelli, Mayor of the Borough of Mountainside, do hereby proclaim October 23rd through October 31st, 2018 as Red Ribbon Week in the Borough of Mountainside, and ask all residents to join in a personal commitment to a drug-free America by wearing and displaying red ribbons during Red Ribbon Week. So proclaimed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so proclaimed. Next, we have another proclamation. This is for the Governor Livingston Highlander Band. It's the Band Appreciation Week for Governor Livingston Highlander Band. Whereas on behalf of the Governor Livingston Band Parents Organization, we wish to acknowledge the musical accomplishments of the Governor Livingston Highlander Band. And whereas these municipal accomplishments have been a great asset to the students of Governor Livingston High School and all others who have supported the Highlander Band. Whereas all citizens are urged to take interest in and give full support to the Governor Livingston Highlander Band in their annual programs. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Paul N. Mirabelli of the Borough of Mountainside, hereby proclaim the week of November 11th, 2018 as Band Appreciation Week. All those in favor?
Aye.
So proclaimed. Next, we have another proclamation. Councilman Mortimer is going to read this one.
This is for the World Polio Day Proclamation. Whereas Rotary International, founded on February 23, 1905 in Chicago, Illinois, USA, is the world's first and one of the largest nonprofit service organizations, and whereas there are over 1.2 million Rotary Club members comprised of professional and business leaders in over 35,000 clubs in 200 countries and geographic areas. And whereas the Rotary motto, service above self, inspires members to provide humanitarian service, encourage high ethical standards, and promote goodwill and peace in the world. And whereas Rotary in 1985 launched Polio Plus and spearheaded the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which today includes the World Health Organization, U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to immunize the children of the world against polio. And whereas polio cases have dropped by 99.9% since 1988, and the world stands on the threshold of eradicating the disease. And whereas, to date, Rotary has contributed more than US $1.8 billion and countless volunteer hours to the protection of more than 2.5 billion children in 122 countries. And whereas Rotary is currently working to raise an additional $50 million per year, which would be further leveraged for maximum impact by an additional $100 million annually from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Whereas these efforts are providing much-needed operational support, medical personnel, laboratory equipment, and educational materials for health workers and parents. And whereas, in addition, Rotary has played a major role in decisions by donor governments to contribute more than $8 billion to the effort. And whereas there are Rotary Clubs sponsoring service projects to address such critical issues as poverty, health, hunger, illiteracy, and the environment in their local communities and abroad. Therefore, Paul N. Mirabelli, Mayor of the Borough of Mountainside, do hereby proclaim October 24th, 2018 as World Polio Day in Mountainside.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, so proclaimed. Okay, next we have our resolutions. Let's start with Resolution 115-2018. Rachel?
Having had the annual PTO Fall Festival at Deerfield School this past Saturday, this resolution demonstrates the support from Mountainside Mayor and Council for this annual event and authorize our Chief Financial Officer, Jill Good, to issue a check in the amount of $500 to the fundraising efforts of the PTO for our children in what was a fun-filled family day for the entire borough community.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All the council.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 116-2018. Glenn, you want to take care of that,
Sure.
please?
At the recommendation of Recreation Director Frank Masella, this resolution will refund $108 less cancellation fee to a resident at 1155 Blazo Terrace for pool membership not used due to extenuating circumstances.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Poll the council.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Okay, next we have Resolution 117-2018. Keith?
Resolution 117-2018, following the receipt of 2 bids for contract 2018-10 for the repaving of the tennis courts at Borough Hall, the borough engineer Mike Disco recommends the bids be rejected due to the bids being substantially higher than the amount appropriated for the project. The project will be redesigned and will be rebid at a later date. So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Poll the council, please.
Councilman Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 118-2018. Renee?
This resolution will authorize the borough to apply for the renewal of our Community Development Block Grant with the County of Union as provided through the federal government under the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 for various municipal senior programs.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Poll the council.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 119-2018. Keith?
Resolution 119-2018, as recommended by the Police Committee and subsequently approved by the Mayor and Council. This resolution amends Resolution 139-2008, increasing the hourly rate as charged by the borough for the use of police officers during outside employment. So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Poll the council.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 120-2018. Glenn?
Having received a $3,171.60 grant from the Volunteer Fire Assistance Grant Program, this resolution will authorize the borough's Chief Financial Officer, Jill Good, to request approval from the Director of Division of Local Government for insertion of the funds into the 2018 budget.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second? Okay, poll the council.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, we have second reading on Ordinance 1269-2018 with public input. Keith?
Ordinance 1216-2018 is an ordinance implementing the collective bargaining agreement between the Borough of Mountainside and the Mountainside PBA Local 126 for the period of January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2021. So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
It's open to the public for discussion.
Seeing no public input, I move that be closed.
So moved. Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Okay, next we have bills and claims, Glenn.
Yes, we do. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Mountainside that the following bills of the persons named and for the amounts stated below have been duly audited and found to be correct this 16th day of October 2018. The same be paid after Council's review if and when funds are available, and that the Mayor, Council President, Administrator, and Treasurer are hereby authorized and directed to sign and deliver warrants for same $292,259.93.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, we have any council comments?
I have a little notice. The annual Clean Communities Day litter pickup program will be held this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. All residents wishing to volunteer their time are both welcome and asked to meet at the Department of Public Works garage promptly at 9, located at the Borough Hall parking lot. The Public Works Department will supply cotton gloves and plastic trash bags for the event. Volunteers will receive suggested areas to cover, picking up debris. All bags containing litter should be brought back to the DPW garage and left in front of it so that the amount of material gathered can be weighed and reported to the state. Please remember to be careful for traffic and be sure to face oncoming traffic and being aware of all activity surroundings for a safe program. If you run into items too large to fit in the trash bags, our 6-man DPW crew will be working and able to respond to your location to handle oversized debris, items that cannot fit within the trash bags you are equipped with. A cell number will be provided to call Saturday morning for response via DPW workers for such oversized heavy or other unwieldy items that won't fit into the normal collection bags. The event typically concludes by noon. All are encouraged and welcome to attend and participate. Any questions regarding specific will be answered during sign-up on Saturday morning. Help make Mountainside beautiful. We look forward to seeing you then. Help make a positive difference in our community for young and old alike, and in keeping and maintaining the fine community Mountainside is. Thank you for contributing your time and work to make Mountainside a better place for our families, residents, visitors, and our children.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I have a couple of comments. I want to thank everyone who actually this past Saturday was one of the nice community days that we have in Mountainside. I want to thank all of those who participated in the Mountainside PAL Cop Trot. Despite the weather, we still had over 120 runners. This year, the race was in memory of John Cataldo, who passed away this year, who was a longtime supporter of the Mountainside PAL. I did have the opportunity to stop by the Fall Festival, and even though they had to move most of it inside, it still appeared to be well attended, and the kids were having a fantastic time. Also Friday night, the Mountainside Rotary Club and the Mayor's Wellness Program sponsored a pickleball tournament out here at Borough Hall. Again, it was very well attended. I want to thank everyone that participated in it. It was a huge success.
Mayor, if I could add, the fire department also had an open house Friday night, which also was very well attended.
Great. And I think coming up, do we have the trail rescue squad? When's the trail, the Haunted Trail for the rescue squad?
I think that's the
Saturday.
27th.
This Saturday, the 27th. We encourage everyone to participate and come down to the Haunted Trail. Before we open up to audience participation, I have a statement that I'd like to make. In an effort to have a productive meeting and consistent with my goal to be as transparent and direct as I can be within the confines of an active lawsuit, I want to provide a brief update on the litigation. Yesterday, the Superior Court ruled on the borough's motion to dismiss the complaint, and in the alternative, to order a more definite statement and to strike certain aspects of the complaint. It is important to understand that these were motions directed at plaintiff's complaint right at the start of litigation, and as a result, under court rules, the judge must accept all of the allegations made by the plaintiffs in their complaint as true. The motions are therefore made before Mountainside puts in any facts and evidence telling its side of the story. While part of the motion was based on our argument that the alleged conduct, while not acceptable, was not discriminatory because it was directed at men and women, we made other arguments as well, including that 3 of the plaintiffs had not set out sufficient facts to support a retaliation claim, even if you accept their allegations as true. At this early stage, the court denied our motion to dismiss on the basis that the conduct was directed at both men and women. Our attorneys are confident, however, that the judge understood and appreciated their argument, which is based on a New Jersey Supreme Court case that stated that if certain conduct was directed at both sexes, it could not be a violation of the law against discrimination. It may be wrong, but it's not discrimination. We expect to renew that motion later after discovery ends and the facts underlying the allegations are clearer. The court did accept our arguments on the retaliation claims, and ultimately the lawyer for the plaintiff dismissed the retaliation claims by 3 of the 6 plaintiffs. The court also accepted our arguments that there were extraneous and irrelevant information in the pleadings and directed that the revised pleadings be filed by the plaintiff after striking some of the allegations. Now that the early motion practice is behind us, I expect our lawyers will turn to the discovery stage of the case and do whatever is necessary to vigorously defend the borough against the accusations in the lawsuit. I can report that, despite this distraction, I have been advised by Joe Giannuzzi that the police department continues to function effectively and that they're able to carry out their duties to the Mountainside residents. In fact, the police recently arrested the man they charged with burglarizing dozens of cars in the last month. This is the only thing I'm going to say at this meeting about the lawsuit. I would ask those in attendance to please understand our obligation to refrain from any further public comment and to put the interests of the borough ahead of political posturing. At this point, we will allow the case to proceed consistent with the court rules. Now, if anyone from the audience wants to come up and make a statement.
Hi, Genevieve Cooper, 125 Knightsbridge Road. I have a couple of questions just going over the agenda from tonight.
Sure.
The first one was about the tennis court repaving. You said that the bids were rejected because of the differences between what the borough had estimated the project to be and what the estimates were coming in at.
Correct.
What is that delta? What is that differential between the two?
I don't know the exact differential, but we're going to revise the bids specs so that we hope they'll come in at the estimates that we are projecting for the project.
Okay. Is there like not necessarily an estimated time frame for that to happen, but do you anticipate this being hopefully done by like next summer?
Relatively quickly, yes.
Okay. They are in pretty bad shape. And then the other question that I had is the amendment for the increasing the hourly rate for police secondary employment. Who are these employees? Are they Mountainside police or are police outside of Mountainside?
Mountainside police officers.
Okay, and what is the differential in the rate change?
I don't have that offhand, do you, Jim?
I think it's $45 now or $75.
I'm sorry?
What's the increase?
I don't know what the difference is, but it's tied to the highest overtime rate of the highest paid patrol officer. Yeah. And that's in line with other surrounding towns.
Have they not received a raise in a while? I mean, why is this raise happening now?
I think it was since 1983, if I'm not mistaken.
83?
I might be wrong about that, but it was some time ago.
I don't think she's thinking about it. You're thinking we're giving the police department a raise. Is that what?
It's a side job. It's just
No, I'm just asking like why this particular raise is happening right now.
It's been at least 10 or 15 years since that has been
These are side
increased.
jobs, and
For the side jobs.
it was negotiated with the PVA.
Okay. And then this week I had the opportunity to come into the building department to look at the plans that were submitted for the Barnes Tract. And I haven't had time to go fully review them, but I do have a couple of questions about it. I know that Mr. Disco hasn't had the opportunity, at the time that I had reviewed the plans, to review them himself and go over any sort of questions or dissertation that he had on it. What is the timeline from him to review it before it's submitted to the planning department, or is that part of the process?
He has to, I believe, file his
21
report.
days before the planning board meeting, not including the meeting date. So I would say...
So the date is November 27th.
The last week in October. They have to be submitted upstairs.
They were submitted.
Okay.
But he hasn't reviewed them.
His report, he has to issue that at least 7 days before the meeting.
Oh, okay. And then, have you had an opportunity to look at the plans?
I certainly have, but
Okay.
at this point, that's not in our jurisdiction. It's the planning board jurisdictions to review and make comments about those plans. I don't think
Okay.
it's appropriate for us to do it at this time. That's their jurisdiction right now.
Okay. And then what is the update on the traffic survey and environmental impact survey?
We have the traffic, a draft of the traffic report has been submitted to us. We're scheduling a meeting with the company that did it because there were some things in the report that really didn't make sense. So we want them to come in and meet with them, and then they'll issue a final report, which will be done before we have the hearing on the Barnes Tract.
Okay. And then environmental impact, wasn't there a survey going to be?
It has to be done by the applicant. That's not done by the borough.
Okay. And do we know that they provided that information, or if they've done that yet?
I'm assuming that they have, but we can check upstairs.
It's supposed to be part of the package.
Part of the package, yeah.
So
I mean, all I saw was a big thing of plans, so, okay. And then I think...
And again, they have, if it's not, they have until 21 days prior to the hearing to submit whatever other documents they're going to submit.
Okay. I did want to point out that as far as the existing trees, shrubbery, there was a comment that was made at one point that they were going to attempt to keep some existing growth there's no existing growth that was kept on those site plans. Just to point it out.
I'm not going to comment, it's before the planning board, but maybe you should take a closer look.
Okay. And then also at one point it had also been mentioned for a 30-foot wall or distance between the properties on Knightsbridge and the Barnes Tract development, and it looks like there's a couple areas that it's a little bit shorter than 30 feet. So I just wanted to bring that up as well.
You should maybe take a closer look. But
I did.
There's plenty of distance.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Hello?
Gotta give you your name and address.
Grant Garcia, 597 Woodland Ave. I am currently working towards my Eagle Scout rank, and to do that I need to complete an Eagle Scout project. And I do have a short letter and some drafts of my project. I'm hoping to create a couple flag retirement boxes and hopefully scatter them either at the library or at Borough Hall, and hopefully maybe also Deerfield School. And I was wondering what steps I'd have to take to get the town's approval to do that.
Well, as far as any at the school, you would have to get the school's approval. As far as any of them on borough property, you should just submit a letter telling us where and what they're going to look like to the borough administrator, and then we'll take it up at one of our meetings. I mean, it sounds like a great project. Have you spoken to Tim McLaughlin?
Yeah, I actually talked to him this morning.
Okay, the VFW commander. He's the one that would really be important for you to talk to about where you're placing them and what they should look like. So I'm sure if he's on board with it, we'll be on board with it.
Cool.
Okay?
He actually said he'd help fundraise also, the VFW, so.
Okay, great.
Making good progress on that. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Have a good night.
You too.
Liz Truman, 355 Cherry Hill Road. So I just want to, my favorite topic, commuter parking. I see that the spots that were vacant for 6 months after completion have finally been given out, and I'm happy about that. But I'm not very happy that the borough lost $2,400 of revenue because nothing happened from the time they were completed. And it's $197, I believe, a spot. I pay for one. So it's about $2,400 that we wasted taxpayer money, okay, not giving those out to the commuters that needed them. And also, I found it kind of amusing that one of the reasons I was told that they couldn't have been given out earlier was because the numbers needed to be professionally painted. And, you know, the next day, I'm sure you're aware, and perhaps you even directed, the next day the numbers were hand spray painted on there, which worked just fine. So we didn't need to wait 6 months for that, and it was lost revenue. But I'm happy that they're given out. And speaking of money, I just was wondering if you could give an update as to where we are on the fees for the lawsuit, because I think the retainer for the attorney was up to $150,000, and since it's already been several months, I'm wondering how far we are on that, how far into the 150 we are, and what other expenses. Can you give us an update on
John,
finances for that?
I don't have those numbers at hand, but if you want to call my office tomorrow, I'll be happy to give you the numbers. I just don't have them at hand. I'd have to talk to Joe Good, the borough CFO.
Do you think that maybe you could, instead of me calling the office, I may not be the only one in the borough who's interested in that. Do you think it would be possible to put something up on the website with that information, or perhaps give us an update at the next council meeting?
Sure.
That would be great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
My name is Patty Bryden. I live at 1036 Summit Lane. I think I'm part of the silent majority in this town that is so proud to be a resident of Mountainside and to call Mountainside my home. I've lived in other places, and I have to tell you, I don't think very many people can say from their heart that they're so proud of their town, and I really have to thank each and every one of you for all that you do and all that you have done. This is 25 years overdue, and I normally thank people for whatever they do that is exemplary, and so I need to say to you, thank you so much. Many of us in town watch you on TV, and we are not just blindly trusting you, we trust you because you deserve our trust. And for 25 years I felt that way. I haven't come to these meetings. It's bedroom town. We're doing our thing, and we trust you. And I want to thank you so much for all you do and for keeping this town so beautiful, so bucolic for so many years, and making our town some place that we're always proud to say we're from Mountainside. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary White, 289 Old Tote Road. You stole all my thunder before about the PAL cop trot, but I wanted to say I was with the Cataldo family on Saturday and also on Sunday, and they wanted me to express their sincere thanks to the borough, not only to the borough, but to the PAL League. You know, I was on the founding basis of PAL way back 19, 20 years ago. I was on the executive board, and when we did the cop trot every year, it was something that, you know, it was a busy event, and you worked on a committee, and you never really got a chance to experience the cop trot. And so Saturday was the first time in 19 years that I actually, well, the mayor thinks I ran it, but I really walked it. We only jogged down the last portion just to make it look good. But and I go public with that, okay? But no, really, on behalf of John, Matthew, Stephanie, and Pat, they really appreciated the great turnout. The weather was not great, as you said, but they really wanted me to express the thanks. Thank you again.
Thanks, Garth. Any other comments? Okay, we have an executive session tonight.
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
In January of 2000, Josh McMahon.
Address, please.
123 South Avenue East in Westfield. In January of 2017, I appeared before this council. Many of you were here, and I attempted to bring to your attention serious problems that you had within your police agency. Everyone can judge for themselves what took place because, luckily, we record things in 2018. I noticed a young woman come up and ask questions about the finances related to this litigation and this lawsuit. And I noticed another young woman come up and indicate that she had unbridled trust in the council. It made me think of a comment I think President Reagan used to say, trust but verify. So one of the things that you mentioned, Mayor, was transparency. Because I think you would agree with me that in order to have a healthy democracy, you need accountability of the government. And in order to have accountability, you need transparency. You also said a few minutes ago that you were under an obligation to not say anything after giving a prepared statement where you said many things about the lawsuit, things that you chose to say, but you seemingly don't want to address any of the questions or concerns of any citizen who's not in elected office. My first question I have for you, Mayor, respectfully, is what obligation are you referring to that says you can't answer any questions from any citizen about the expenditure of taxpayer monies?
That wasn't the question that was asked of me. People asked me about the litigation, and on the advice of our attorneys, I have not been able to discuss the specifics of the litigation, and that was what my statement was. What I did talk about was something that was a matter of public record, so it's not something that I'm prohibited from discussing.
Okay, so if it's not something that's private, you don't have any objection discussing it?
I didn't say that. I said if it's part of the litigation, I cannot.
Okay. Is there a reason you can't discuss anything with the litigation?
I just told you why.
If I could just finish my question.
But you asked the same question twice.
I promise you it's not the same question if you just give me a chance. All the litigation consists of public filings in an open and public courtroom. The only things that are private are communications between an attorney and a client that are privileged. Are there specific facts in that lawsuit that you or any members of the council disagree with? Because you seem to indicate that the borough has to accept the facts as true, somewhat implying that we're required under the legal standard for a motion to dismiss to accept them as true. That led me to think in my head just now, which of those facts in that lawsuit, which is a public record, do any of you deny?
First of all, as an attorney, you know on a motion to dismiss, the allegations have to be deemed true. And I've also, this will be the third time that I'm going to answer the question by saying, on the advice of counsel, we cannot get into the specifics of the allegation in the complaint.
So on the advice of counsel, you are not allowed to address the people who elect you. When they seek a question and they want to know from you as their elected official, are there things in this lawsuit that you as the elected body deny? Your response is your lawyer told you that you can't answer the public.
For the fourth time.
I don't understand why you're...
For the fourth time.
I haven't asked that question before, Mayor.
You asked the same question.
No, I'm asking are you telling us that the lawyer told you, as the mayor, not as a private citizen, but as the mayor, that you are not allowed to answer any questions other than the canned statement that you put out?
I'm not allowed to discuss the litigation based upon the advice of counsel.
Okay. So it's advice of counsel, but not an obligation. You're free to disregard the advice as the client, aren't you? I'm just asking a question, Mayor.
I'm going with the advice of our counsel.
Sure.
That's what a responsible elected official would do.
Or a responsible elected official could be transparent and answer all the questions and address everyone's concerns if there's nothing to hide, couldn't they?
Again, as I've said now the fifth time, on the advice of our attorneys, I'm not to discuss the litigation.
Who is overseeing this litigation with the attorneys? Who does the attorney from Gibbons? Who does Gibbons get their direction from? Who supervises the litigation?
Again,
who does Gibbons speak to?
Again, I'm not allowed to discuss the litigation.
I'm not asking you about the litigation.
You keep asking me the same questions, Mr. McMahon, over and over again.
Mayor, I'm not asking the same question.
Well, it seems to me you are.
Well, maybe we'll try it differently. Who does the attorney from Gibbons deal with to determine the direction of the litigation on behalf of this borough?
We have hired an experienced attorney in this area, and we rely upon her to advise us about how to move forward with the litigation.
My question is, who is us?
The council.
Okay, so that's what my question was. You and the council members are the ones who
and
are...
our attorney.
Okay. Well, your attorney's not elected. You agree with that, right?
No,
okay.
He's not elected.
So you and the council members, many of them who were here when I raised this issue nearly 2 years ago, you are the ones directing the course of the litigation, right?
On the advice of our attorneys,
Well,
yes.
You're the client. You direct your attorney.
I've answered the question, Mr. McMahon. If you have another question that's different,
I do.
then I'll be glad to answer.
How come you don't want to save all the taxpayers' money and resolve the case, since you have eliminated the chief of police, the officer who you had assigned to the schools and internal affairs? They're gone, and a third one is apparently going to be gone. Why are you not seeking to wrap this up as efficiently, as economically as you can for the taxpayers, instead of using their money at a high-powered, very expensive law firm? That's my question.
On the advice of counsel, I'm not going to discuss the strategy of the case or the strategy of settling it or not settling it. This is the early stages of the case. There's a lot that's going to have to go on. As I indicated in my statement, now we're moving into the discovery phase.
So you've expended $150,000 in authorization. Your borough attorney does not know the answer as to how much has been spent. You basically lost on all aspects yesterday. You indicated 3 people were dismissed, but you didn't indicate, which is in the Yahoo article, that the judge specifically gave them authority to refile their case. So that's $150,000 in taxpayer money. At what point can anyone ask you a question such as, we had a problem here, we're acknowledging it, we want to fix it, and we want to move on with new leadership? Is that a bad course of action, Mayor?
As I've indicated before, anything that has to do with the litigation, on the advice of counsel, I'm not going to talk about.
Your attorney specifically advised you to not address questions in council meetings.
Not to discuss the litigation, correct.
Okay. And you're choosing
To do that, to follow the advice of our very experienced...
Do any of the other council members choose to disregard that advice because you're all independently elected? Has anyone given consideration to resolving this lawsuit instead of spending years and spending taxpayer money, years of litigation? Has anyone considered resolving this through a fair resolution, a negotiated settlement? Has anyone given any thought whatsoever to this?
On the advice of our attorneys,
not
we
you.
cannot discuss...
I'm not asking
No,
you.
wait a minute, don't say not me.
I just did.
I just
I'm
answered
asking them
your
a question. I just
okay?
did. I'm not
Okay,
speaking
well,
to you.
they're not going to... They can all respond. I'm sure they're going to...
Of course they can all respond. They're elected.
They're going to concur with me.
I don't know that you speak for everybody. Has anyone here considered, even for a brief moment, is it a wise choice to perhaps consider resolving this when a quarter of your police department files a major lawsuit?
Mr. McMahon, let me respond to your question.
Mr. Post, I'm happy to do that, but can I get an answer from the members of the council?
I am suggesting...
Can't we just let them answer?
No, I am suggesting that the members of the council should not answer your question. The reason why they should not answer your question, you well know, sir, as an attorney.
What do I know?
What you are attempting to do is delve into deliberations or non-deliberations that would affect the ultimate disposition of the case, settlement negotiations, etc. And you, sir,
I want to know if you're interested in having any settlement discussions.
You, sir, know very, very well that that's entirely inappropriate for a public body.
You're the person who's been in charge for 2 years actually, you've been in charge for 45 years, and you're the person who had a person in schools who is exposing his sexual private parts, who is doing horrendous things. You're the person who is overseeing this place when you have a police chief pointing his gun at police officers. So, respectfully, I don't accept your cue for what's appropriate or not, and I'm asking again,
Mr.
each
McMahon,
member,
Mr.
Post, please.
I don't think
didn't
you're
interrupt
coming
you.
to this meeting...
If I can have an opportunity, please. It's called government accountability, Mr. Post.
You've had more than your
Members of the council, I'm asking you respectfully a question.
You've had more than your 5 minutes, Mr. McMahon.
Have any of you given consideration...
Mr. McMahon, coming to this meeting...
Yes.
...and repeating allegations made in the complaint...
Do you deny them?
...serves no useful purpose as far as the interests of the borough of Mountainside are concerned.
Do you deny them?
So the question is, whose interests are you attempting to serve...
The taxpayer.
...in coming to this meeting and repeating those kinds of allegations made...
The taxpayer.
No, the Democratic candidates, and you know it.
Democratic candidates?
That's right. That's what you're doing.
You can look up my registration.
Okay, I'll look
I am
it
the
up.
furthest thing from a Democrat.
Okay, well...
So my question to you, again, is... 5 minutes. Mr. Post, it's okay to have accountability and transparency. I'm simply asking questions for the taxpayers, and my last question is this. Can anyone up here tell me a single fact in that complaint that you deny? Just one.
Thank you very much for your question.
5 minutes are up.
I would instruct my clients, this governing body, not to respond to that question for the reason that has been stated to you, sir, as an attorney here tonight, at least 6 or 7 times. The attorney who gave us those instructions is the attorney handling the lawsuit, and this governing body is going to follow those instructions because, sir, at the end of the day...
It's advice, not instructions.
It's instructions.
You know better. You're an attorney.
At the end of the day, sir,
advice.
The reason why those instructions are being followed is because it is in the best interest of the taxpayers of this community and a responsible handling of this lawsuit.
When I was here in January of 2017, what steps did you take to do anything in response to the information I brought
I'm
forward,
not going to
Mayor.
answer any more of your questions.
Is that connected to litigation too?
No, I'm not going to answer any more of your questions. You've had your 5 minutes. I'm not going to answer any more of your questions.
Have you been transparent with me tonight?
I'm not going to answer any more of your questions.
Okay. You all have a great evening.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments they would like to make?
What is this?
Truman, 355 Cherry Hill Road. I just would like assurance that at some point, when it's the appropriate time, that the citizens of this borough will be given all of the facts and all of the truth about what happened, about what was spent. If these hearings are public, it might be interesting to go to one and to hear it, you know, firsthand. I would like to know that at some point we are going to know what happened, and people are going to be held accountable. That's what I would like assurance of.
I think I've already said that. I can assure you that whatever the facts lead us to, the people will be accountable.
And the residents will be able to know what really happened.
At the right time, correct.
Okay, that's great.
Said that before, though.
Well, I don't know, after this, I just wanted to hear it again.
Okay.
All right.
And Mrs. Truman, the judicial proceedings...
Ms. Truman, Ms. Truman.
I'm sorry, Ms. Truman. The judicial proceedings are all open. They're on the public record, so anybody who
Great.
has an interest.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else? We have exec tonight. Do you have the thing for exec? So I can read it. Whereas the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey permits the public to be excluded from certain matters to be discussed by the governing body, and whereas the mayor and council desire to discuss personnel, which is a matter where the exclusion of the public is permitted, whereas a public disclosure of the results of this discussion will be made as soon as the matter discussed has been resolved by the governing body of the Borough of Mountainside. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Mountainside that the aforesaid matter shall be discussed in closed session upon adoption of the resolution, and it's basically personnel. We're going into executive.
Good job.